All right, let's get right into it. We often think being good with money is all about knowing a bunch of complicated stuff, right? Like reading stock charts or having some secret formula. But what if I told you the single most important financial skill has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you think? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful idea from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, that might just flip your whole view of wealth on its head.
So, what is the real secret? Well, it's not some complex algorithm or hot stock tip. Turns out, it's less about what you know and way more about how you act. It's a soft skill, not some hard and fast rule. And to really truly get this, we've got to look at a fascinating real-world story. A paradox, really.
So let's start with a tale of two fortunes. We've got two guys who could not be more different in their education, their careers, their income, but their stories, man, they reveal something incredibly profound about what wealth actually is.
Okay, so in one corner, we have a tech executive. We're talking a certified genius with a PhD who held patents for stuff that made Wi-Fi possible. And in the other corner, Ronald Reed, a janitor and gas station attendant from rural Vermont. Now, just looking at their resumes, who would you bet ended up wealthier? The answer is going to surprise you.
The executive, well, he had let's just say, a unique relationship with money. He would walk around with these huge wads of cash just to show him off. He once bought thousands of dollars in gold coins just to skip them across the Pacific Ocean like they were rocks. Seriously. Another time, he broke a lamp worth maybe $500 and just threw $5,000 at the manager and told him to get lost.
And, maybe not a huge shocker here, this genius, who was so brilliant with technology, was a complete and utter disaster with his money. He went completely broke. All that intelligence couldn't save him from his own behavior.
Now, let's flip the script and talk about Ronald Reed. His life was the absolute definition of low-key. He lived in the same simple house for his entire adult life. He fixed cars, he swept floors, and his main hobby? Chopping firewood. Nobody, and I mean nobody, in his town had a clue that he had any money. He didn't drop a single hint.
So when Ronald Reed passed away at 92, the town was absolutely stunned to learn that this humble janitor had secretly built up an $8 million fortune. He left millions to the local hospital and library. How on earth did he do it? It was simple, really. He was patient, he saved what he could consistently, and he understood something that genius executives never, ever did.
See, Ronald Reed understood the real purpose of money. It wasn't about flashy cars or showing off. Nope. It was about earning something so much more valuable. And that, right there, is the highest dividend that money can possibly pay. Just think about that for a second. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. That's it. That's the ultimate goal. The power to control your own life, to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. That feeling, it's priceless. It's the universal fuel of joy.
We can call this the freedom dividend. It's this idea that the greatest, most real value of money isn't fancy stuff. It's the independence, the autonomy that comes from having savings. It's the power to be the boss of your own calendar, of your own life. And hey, this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It's actually backed by science. A psychologist named Angus Campbell studied what makes people happy. And you know what he found? Having a strong sense of being in control of your own life was a better predictor of happiness than your salary, the size of your house, or your fancy job title.
So what does this freedom actually look like in real life? Well, it kind of comes in stages, right? At first, it's just being able to take a sick day without totally panicking about the money. Then, it's having the cushion to wait for a good job if you get laid off, instead of just desperately grabbing the first one you find. Eventually, it's not being terrified of your boss because you know you have enough saved up to just walk away. And the ultimate level? Retiring when you want to, not when you have to. Okay, so if controlling your time is the real jackpot, why are so many of us chasing luxury goods instead? This gets us to a really common psychological trap that Housel calls the man-in-the-car paradox.
This paradox explains this fundamental mistake we make when we try to use our money to get other people to admire us. It's a huge, incredibly common blind spot that traps so many of us into chasing all the wrong things.
You know the scene. You see someone drive by in a ridiculously expensive car, like a Ferrari. The person behind the wheel is probably thinking they're sending a clear message to the world, like, hey, look at me, I'm successful, I'm important, you should admire me. But here's the cold, hard reality check from Household. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. Think about it. When we see that fancy car, we don't think, wow, that driver must be an amazing person. No way. We think, wow, I wish I had that car. We admire the car, not the owner. We use their stuff as a benchmark for our own wants, without giving the actual person a second thought.
So, let's put it all together. If luxury goods don't bring us the admiration we crave, and if freedom is the real key to happiness, well, the path forward gets a lot clearer, doesn't it? The goal isn't just to pile up money. It's to use that money to buy back the one thing we can never make more of, our time.
I absolutely love this way of looking at it. Saving money isn't about depriving yourself. It's an act of reclaiming your own future. Every single dollar you put away is like buying a little piece of your future freedom. A piece that you now own, giving you more options, more flexibility, and way more control.
So what do we do with all that freedom? Well, a study of 1,000 elderly people asked them for the most important life lessons they'd learned. And guess what? Not one of them said, you should work as hard as possible so you can buy all the things you want. What they actually valued was having quality friendships, being part of something bigger than themselves, and, this was a big one, spending quality, unstructured time with their kids.
And this final thought from Housel, man, it just hits you right in the gut. He says, your kids don't want your money anywhere near as much as they want you. Specifically, they want you with them. The freedom to just be present in their lives, that's a return on investment that no stock market on earth can ever match.
So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Forget about the fancy car for a minute. Ask yourself this instead. If the real purpose of money is to buy freedom, what would you do with that freedom? What would your life look like if money gave you back your time?